Hey guys, and welcome to Construct 101. Today we are looking at the pin behavior. Alright, so I was going to take a look at a couple of behaviors today, but then I got a little bit stuck on one of the bits that the pin behavior does. It's got a bunch of features, and one of them I couldn't quite figure out, so I thought it deserved a little bit more time in case you guys are feeling the same, or maybe you're stuck on the same features. So let's just add the pin behavior to Blocky. Now, because we need to pin Blocky to something, we need to add another sprite. Now think of it like a pin, a real life pin, but in a virtual world. Now with the pin behavior, you don't have to have the objects overlapping. They can be away from each other, and you can still pin them virtually, okay? So let's add a sprite. Just going to add it here. Select that color, it's already there. Make it the same size as Blocky, and just put it over here. Okay, so this one's called Sprite. Now Blocky has the pin behavior already added, and like I said, you don't have to have them overlapping like this in order to pin them, okay? They are basically pinned at the relative distance that you put them on state. So if I pin Blocky to the sprite right here, then this is the distance it is going to stay from the sprite, okay? So I've already been doing a little test. So basically, just to go from scratch, we go at the start of layout. So just type that in. Wait, we gotta go to system first. Start of layout, okay? And we just going to go Blocky, type in pin to object, and we're going to select sprite. Now, as you see, there are a few modes here. You can have position and angle, position only, angle only, rope style, and bar style. So we're just going to leave it on this one here and test and see what happens. Well, nothing yet because we can't move. So just for the sake of demonstration purposes, we are going to add a drag and drop behavior, the drag and drop behavior to the sprite. So now that we can drag, you see that it's keeping the same position and angle from the sprite. Now, again, we haven't touched on this behavior yet, but just for the sake of demonstration of the pin behavior, we're going to add rotate. Let's not worry about what it does. It rotates an object. However, we'll talk about it later, but we're just going to add it. We're just going to add it now and leave it as it is, and you should see that the rotation and angle, the position and angle will stay the same as the sprite. Now, if I now change this to position only, and you see it does something interesting. Right here in this little example, I'm already seeing a mechanic for a Ferris wheel or something along those lines. That would, you pin a bunch of blockies around. In fact, I'm going to show you guys now. This is how simple. Let's just lock this layer. Okay, this is just how simple construct is to use. I could easily just copy a bunch of blockies around this object. Okay, press play, and we've got a Ferris wheel. How easy is that? Pretty sweet. I'm loving this software. It is so straightforward, brilliant way it's been designed. So the next one up, we've got okay, there was one more on position and angle. Let's say we've got the block rotating, right? But we don't want to what was I talking about? No, that's fine. Let's just move on to the next one. I had something on my mind, but that wasn't it. Okay, let's go to angle only. Now, in this case, when you press play, we can drag this around, but it's not following its position, but it is only copying. So it's only pinning the rotation part. Again, virtual. It's not a real pin. Okay, so it is copying or cloning the rotation of the sprite object. Now we come to the two that I was a little bit confused about. We've got rope style. Okay, so we're just going to go rope style. We're going to disable the rotation here, and we're going to drag around. Now, as you see, it's like, like Blocky is tied to a rope, and being dragged around. That's cool. Now, next up, I had a look at the bar style, and immediately I thought, well, that's cool, but it looks exactly the same as rope style. So what is the difference, right? Now, there is a big difference, and that difference is that when you push against blocky, it is like there is a rigid object in between them, a bar, okay? So you can already imagine that this would be a mechanic for a game. Let's say you had something, you have to drag an object on screen and there is an object in front of it. Like, let's say you could have a mop or something along those lines, and let's say you gotta clean the floor, okay, and you gotta push this red object in front of you and make sure everything is clean. But obviously it's frustrating because you gotta get it in the right spot, or you have to collect a bunch of coins, things like that. Real fun little mechanics coming to mind immediately. Right now, the rope style, however, works very differently. It still drags, so I can still drag the sprite. However, when I go over, it acts more like there was a slack, if there was a slack rope in between the two, okay? And you can already see that these are very different mechanics that you could be utilizing in your games. Really, really like these. Now, one downside of the pin behavior is that I really, really wish that you could also copy the size of an object. However, that is not a feature that's available in Construct just yet. I really wish you could, let's say, pin a whole bunch of little bits and pieces to a sprite, like eyes, head, sword to a belt, things like that. And then when you, let's say, tween or animate or alter the size of the sprite on screen using code or whatever in Construct, that all the little objects would copy the size and the squash and stretch and all that sort of stuff. However, right now only angle and position are being cloned copies, right? Having the size being part of the pin behavior would be absolutely brilliant, because it would act as if the extra accessories on objects were like a child of the parent actor sprite, and almost like a container, right? And you could, like I said, squash and stretch them together. It would lead to so many possibilities. It's unbelievable. Now, Construct 3, the team Skira, have been absolutely amazing in adding new features to the software, timeline, new functions, tween engine, absolutely brilliant. But this is one of the top ones I would love to see. I would absolutely love to see it in the software, and I hope that someone from Construct is listening. Really, really good feature, and I think there are some suggestions for it already, but we'll see how it goes. I think that at some stage, something like this might be added. But yeah, brilliant little behavior. You can do a lot with it. Just wish this one little extension was available eventually. So yeah, next week we'll get onto the scroll to behavior, which is quite an exciting one, because you can do little effects like shake screen and follow camera and things like that. So I will see you in the next Construct 101.